Welcome to the Savvy Podcasting for Entrepreneurs podcast, a place for podcasters to learn what's actually working in the world of podcasting and how to use their podcast to generate consistent leads in their business. I'm your host, Jenny, and I'm so excited you're here.
Hey, Savvies. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I am super excited to have you here. Today on the show, I'm going to be answering the question of, I'm not getting leads from my podcast. What should I do? So while we're probably still going to love our podcast if we only have a handful of listeners, we're obviously going to be a lot more motivated when we see our numbers grow on a consistent basis. And we're also converting those people from listener to lead. So let's talk about how to actually turn your listeners into leads for your business. So first, I want you to think about a few things. First up, are the majority of your episodes relevant to your products and services? Do you currently share a way for people to become a lead in every single episode? And then lastly, do you talk more about how people can connect with you outside of the podcast? So think about those three things and let's go through each of them separately. So first up, are the majority of your episodes relevant to your products and services? If not, I would definitely start here. You want your episodes to be connected to your products and services so that the podcast can serve as a warming hut for those offerings. Otherwise, your podcast is just a hobby and it's not converting into business for you, which is fine if conversions to your business isn't your goal from your podcast. But if you do want conversions, then there needs to be a direct correlation between your podcast episodes and the products and services you offer. And while you probably don't need to go fully back to the drawing board here, I definitely recommend taking a look at the upcoming episodes you have and maybe restructuring those to make more sense towards your products and services. You may need to do a full rebrand depending on how different this content is, but I think it's important to kind of just take a look at what's upcoming and see how you can make those changes. Second, do you currently share a way for people to become a lead in every single episode? So I'm going to preface this and say you don't need to do a hard sell of your products or services in every single episode. In fact, please do not do that because that's really a quick way to turn your listeners off. However, I do think it is important to lead people to your offerings in your episodes. So really lean into those free offerings that you have in your episodes that are relevant to your products or services so that you can get your listeners on your email list and continue nurturing them in their inboxes each and every week. That is really going to seal the deal and go hand in hand with your weekly episodes. And they're getting to hear from you more than once a week at that point. And then lastly, do you talk more about how people can connect with you outside of the podcast? So let's face it, there really aren't too many ways for your listeners to directly connect with you in podcasting apps besides leaving you a rating and review. But the podcaster has no way to respond. So it's kind of a one-way line of communication, which is not really beneficial in the long run because you see these reviews, you're excited about them, but then you're like, great, but I can't talk to this person any further other than being in their earbuds every week. So it's really important to share in your episodes about other ways that people can connect with you, like directing them to join your free Facebook group if you have one, directing them to DM you on Instagram, or even directing them to join your email list via a freebie or masterclass or something like that. And this really allows you to be able to have a conversation with them where they can reply and you can nurture them further instead of them just listening to your episodes each week, but you having absolutely no idea who they are and not really having any way to directly contact them. So I would love to know, what improvements are you planning to make to start turning your listeners into leads? So I would love to know, what improvements are you planning to make to start turning your listeners into leads? Let us know over on Instagram. Our handle is Podcasting for Entrepreneurs. I would love to see you there. It's always great to chat with you guys in the DMs. And if you want to check out the show notes for this episode, head over to savvypodcastingforentrepreneurs.com and I will see you in the next episode.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast player like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Stitcher and leave a review. You can find us at savvypodcastingforentrepreneurs.com and on Facebook at Savvy Podcasting for Entrepreneurs and Instagram at Savvy Podcasting. Make sure to join our free Facebook community for podcasters by going to savvypodcastingforentrepreneurs.com/community and join in on the exclusive community just for Savvy Podcasting for Entrepreneurs listeners. I'll see you there.